Hi everybody, it's Crystal. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this stitch here. It's kind of a side shell global connection stitch, I would say. It's very, very pretty. So I think it'll work well. Really make really pretty blankets, you know, and scarves and everything like that. It's probably about 75% not see-through. It's not too bad. And you can see that it has shells and these are double crochet 3 togethers. So for this particular stitch you will need to know how to single crochet, double crochet, and then I'll show you how to do the double crochet 3 together. It's actually quite easy. And it does look pretty much the same on both sides, other than, you know, like the shells here, the double crochets are backwards on the other side, but other than that. And it is just only a 2-row repeat, and it works up rather quickly. I think you can make lots of beautiful things with it. Do you guys want to go ahead and get started on it? All right, let's do it. Now, do remember this is just a stitch tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to do the stitch. What you do with it will be up to you. So the yarn and hook choice, it will depend on what you're making. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just using a 4-weight acrylic yarn in a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. So this stitch is done in a multiple of 5 plus 2, sit on a base chain of single crochet. So 5 plus 2 will be your chain multiple. So what that means is whatever you're making, depending on what it is, you would chain in multiples of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. For however long it is, whatever you're making, whether you're making a big blanket or a little scarf, it does not matter. You chain in a multiple of 5. And once you get it as big as you want it to be, add 2 more to your base, to your chain. So for my sample here, I have chained 22. 20 is my multiple of 5, and then I added 2 more to my base chain. All right, so we'll go ahead and begin. So this first row is just a single crochet foundation row or a base chain of single crochet. So we will not count this as row 1. We're just going to count this as our foundation row or our base row, whatever you'd like to call it. So we're going to go ahead, once you get your chain of 5 plus 2, single crochet in the second chain from our hook. We never count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, we're going to single crochet into that stitch right there, second one. And then we're going to work across our chain, putting 1 single crochet into every single stitch for the length of our chain. And this will create our base row or our foundation row of single crochet. I think I always say that having a foundation row on the bottom helps keep your chain from stretching out when you have multiple stitches going into the same chain. I don't always use a base row, but I do quite a bit. Anyways, so I'm going to continue putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to the end of the row. Alright, so once you make it to the end of your base row of single crochet here, you will have 1 less single crochet than whatever you chained. So as I mentioned, I chained at 22 in the beginning. I now have 21 single crochets. Okay, we'll go ahead and start row 1. We are going to chain 1 and turn our work. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to work right back into this very first stitch. And into this very first stitch, we are going to put a single crochet. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go back into the exact same stitch that we just single crocheted into and work 3 double crochets. So that's all going into the same stitch. There's 1 double. There's 2 doubles. And there's 3. So that is kind of the shell portion, is what I'm calling it, of this particular stitch. It's a single, chain 3, and 3 doubles, all in the same stitch. Now we're going to start the repeat by skipping 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one we're going to do the shell again. So skip your 4, skip, 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 and the next one we're going to hit the single crochet right there, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go back into the exact same stitch and work 3 more double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and that is the repeat of a row 1. So again, we skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the next one we're going to do the shell again. We're going to single crochet, and we're going to chain a 3, and then we're going to go back into the same stitch and work 3 more double crochets. Now we're going to repeat this pattern of working at that shell and then skipping 4 all the way until we get to the last stitch of our row. Well, until we get to the last 5 stitches of our row. All right, and that is where I'll be back up with you. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 1, and I have 5 stitches that remain. I'm going to skip 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put 1 single crochet into the last stitch, and that will end row 1, and that is what it looks like. And now we're going to go ahead and start row 2. So rows 2 and 3 are the repeat rows. It's just a 2-row repeat. It works up quite fast. So we'll go ahead and we will start a row 2, and we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work, and we're going to go back into that same very first stitch and put a double crochet, just like that. Now that chain 3 is acting as a double crochet. I generally don't use chain 3s as doubles, but for this particular stitch it works the best. All right, so we have a chain 3 and a double crochet into the first stitch. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. This is starting our repeat, and we're going to single crochet into the next chain 3 space. So it's right here. We're going to single crochet into it. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And in this single crochet down here from the row below, we're going to work a double crochet 3 together. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that's done. So we chain 2. Now we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go into that single crochet, and we're going to draw our working yarn through like that, and we're going to yarn over and go through 2 loops on our hook, leaving the loops that are on there still there. And we want to do that 3 times. So we've already done it once. Let's do it again. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to go into the same single crochet and draw up a loop, and then we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. One more time, we're going to yarn over and go into that same single crochet and draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, which will leave 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 4. Now that is the double crochet 3 together. Now we're going to start our repeat by chaining 2, coming over here and single crocheting into the next chain 3 space. So we just go right into the space and single crochet. Then we chain 2, and then we're going to do our double crochet 3 together right down here in the single crochet that is from the previous row. So we're going to yarn over and go into the single crochet, draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. We're going to do that 3 times. That was number 1. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. That was 2 times. One more time, yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2. 4 loops will remain. Yarn over and go through all 4, just like that. Then we're going to start our repeat again by chaining 2, and a single crocheting into our next chain 3 space. So just right through the space, single crochet, chain 2, and then right down here in the single crochet we are going to do our double crochet 3 together again. Now we're going to keep repeating that pattern. I'm almost to the end, but you would keep repeating that pattern until you get to your last chain 3 space here of the row, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. All right, so I'm coming up to, I just did a double crochet 3 together right down here in this single crochet. I chain 2. Now what I'm going to do is single crochet into this last chain space. So I single crochet in that last chain space, but we're not done. We're going to chain 2 again, and then the single crochet down here that this chain space is coming off of, we are going to work a double crochet 2 together. So what we're going to do is yarn over and go into that single crochet down here and draw up a loop and yarn over and go through 2 loops, first 2 loops on our hook, and then we're going to do that one more time. We're going to yarn over and go into the same spot, same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through 2 loops on our hook. Now this time we're only going to have 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and go through all 3. So that's kind of like a half of one that we do on the end, and that is the only end that we do it on. And that's what it starts to look like after row 2. Now row 3 is the final row, repeat row, rows 2 and 3. And you'll notice that row 3 is very similar to row 1. We're going to go ahead and start out with a chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We are going to go right back into the top of this cluster, or this double crochet 2 together, and work a single crochet right into the top of it, like that. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to be working into the chain 2 space right here, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So that's how you kind of start row 3, and every time you repeat it, that row, that's how it starts. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 3. We're going to skip this chain 2 space, and we're going to work in the one after this double crochet cluster here, and we're going to go into it, the space, we're going to single crochet, chain 3, and go back in and work 3 doubles. So we're working our shell into that chain space. Just like that. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way across. So again, we skip this chain space here, and we work in the one after our cluster from the previous row, the double crochet 3 together, and we work a shell into that chain space. So we go right into the space, and we single crochet, chain 3, and work 3 more double crochets. Oops. And there's 3. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way across until we get near the end of the row. Let's repeat it until we get, I'll meet you when we make it right here at this last big chain space, all right? I'll see you there in just a second. All right, so here we are at the end. I just did my shell right here, and now we have this chain space, and then we have like 2 doubles on the end. This is how we end row 3. We just put a single crochet into the top of that very last chain 3 from the previous row. And that ends row 3. And that ends the repeat rows. So that's it. You would just keep repeating rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3. The double crochet cluster row and the shell row, and you repeat them back and forth until you get to your desired size. So for row 4, I would just be repeating row 2. I would chain 3 and turn my work, go back into the same stitch and put a double crochet just like we did on row 2, and then we chain 2 and single crochet into this chain space. This is, remember, this is the cluster row or the double crochet 3 together, and then we chain 2, and then we do our double crochet 3 together right down here into the single crochet from the previous row. And if you look closely, you can see that there is, here's the cluster from 2 rows ago. The single crochet is right kind of a little bit catty corner from it. And go ahead and do your double crochet 3 together into that space. Chain 2 and repeat. Single crochet in this chain space, chain 2, and then you would double crochet 3 together in that single crochet. So after you repeat that a few times, it starts to look like this. So that's rows 2 and 3 repeated, and you probably want to end on a row 2 repeat, the cluster row, because that'll give you a nice straight edge at the top. See that? I ended on a row 2 repeat. The double crochet 3 together, or the cluster, or whatever you want to call it. That way, if you were doing a baby blanket, you have a nice straight edge at the top that you could put a very beautiful border on it. But you don't have to use it for blankets. You could use it for whatever you want. But I think it is very, very pretty. And I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to hit that like button if you did. And that subscribe button. Check out all my other tutorials, which I have many, many, many. Anything that you could ever want to make. I mean, anything that you could ever want to make, and I have multiples of them, I'm sure. So please do enjoy them as you see fit. They are all free. So I will see you guys on my next video, whatever it might be. Take care. Bye, guys.